All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule great millstone wow. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abab abal. This is Isaiah 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, which the west is dealing with the Americas, North America, South America, even the European countries are considered Western. And his glory from the rising of the sun, from the east. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. All right, who's going to come in like a flood? The enemy. The enemy of who? The enemy of the Israelites. All right, the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery. Now, this is pertaining to the elect men of the nation of Israel, which are prophesying, sighing, and crying. All right? Now, let me get that Revelation 13. It says, verse 5 of Revelation 13, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, talking about Esau, the so-called white man, the wicked that ruled the world, and this is dealing with his elite. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. So there's a set period of this devil talking shit. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, which are his men, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him, the so-called white man, the red devil, to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, which this devil was given the ability to take peace from the earth. All right. Revelation 6. It says in verse 4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, which is the nuclear missile. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand, which the so-called white man, his balances are unfair. This is why he is an abomination. He is the wicked. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. So hyperinflation, unjust balances. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine, talking about the hopeful elect. All right, they will not be able to hurt the hopeful elect. All right, it tells you that there will be some that are beheaded for this truth, but that's part of prophecy. In fact, let me grab that before I leave that. Revelation 6. Let's see. It says, I'll just continue on verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, Yahushua opens the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. So these follow the so-called white men, all right? Famine, death, and destruction. It says, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, which is the grave. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I heard under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, and for the testimony which they held, which is prophecy. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So see, there's a prophecy that some of us shall die, but we shall not all die, but we shall all be changed. 1 Corinthians 15, and it's 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. Ye shall not all sleep, meaning die, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, which is the return of Yahushai. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Because at the same time, Yahushai's return, nuclear destruction, all right? It all happens together. Yahushai's return at the nuclear destruction of America. It says in Isaiah 14, it says, verse 9, How from beneath, talking the earth, it is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. All right, because America is prophesied to be destroyed by 200 million nukes. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Okay? And let me see if I can pull up this video.
100% on Russia. It doesn't matter who does it. It's all going to be blamed on Russia. Joe Biden, Ned Price, they're all saying that Russia's going to set off a dirty bomb, which they have there's no reason for them to do it. If it doesn't benefit them to take out Russian areas and kill their own people. But anyway, that's what you're hearing from Western news media. But this is the breaking news coming in from War News 24/7 here. Doomsday, if a dirty bomb explodes, rehearsal of a Russian massive nuclear strike with ICBMs, Yars, Seneva, and Zircon missiles. Now, this is all going on right now in Russia, that they are drilling for an all-out nuclear war. Folks, Russia is not going to just launch one little bomb at the United States or NATO. If they launch a nuclear strike, it's going to be a massive strike. They're not going to just launch one or two missiles over here and see what we do. It's not going to be that way. Everybody has ignored President Vladimir Putin. They have ignored his red lines. They think he's bluffing, but he's not bluffing, folks. And I do believe that we could be on the verge of something that's going to really change your world and everybody that lives in it. So let's go ahead and read this article.
All right, which is biblical. All right. And that's why the earth is going to move, is because 200 million nuclear missiles is going to destroy America. All right. America is going to be destroyed by Russia and NATO. Russia and NATO are going to shoot nuclear missiles on America. And Russia has allies, the BRIC countries, which also are going to participate. Okay. So, let's go back to Isaiah 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, the east. All right. So that's what's going to happen. All right. And let me get that in Revelation 13. Tells you that they make war with us. It says, Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. So that's who they're warring with. They're at war with the saints, the Israelites. The so-called white man, the red devil, is at war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, which he controls the world, the other nations, and tongues and nations. All right? So the so-called white man is going to find himself fighting with Yahushua. All right? It says in Revelation 17, verse 12, and the 10 horns, which are the kings of the European Union, which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. All right, because this NWO is going to come into reality with this World War III, is what the so-called white man believes. But in fact, this is going to be the destruction of his kingdom, America, and the enslavement of his people under the Israelites. The so-called white men that survived this nuclear destruction of America and the rest of the nations will go into slavery under the Israelites. All right, that's the future. Revelation 17, verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. That hour is when they make the MOTB, the implantable microchip, mandatory for buying and selling. They're going to make it mandatory worldwide. 1 day, 1 hour. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Which it says that they're going to make war with us. And that's why there's a flood. Okay? In verse 19, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy, so they're going to come in like a flood, shall come in like a flood on the Israelites. It tells you in 2nd Ezra 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, which is being stirred up right now. They're using Kanye, Ye, is as he calls himself, when he made these so-called anti-Semitic statements, all right, which there is no such thing as a Semitic person. The name is Shemitic, all right, and it's actually Shamatic, all right. Sham is the proper way of saying it. And Sham was one of the sons of Noah. And Sham, all right, out of Sham came Esau and Jacob. All right, but Jacob was loved and eventually was renamed Israel. And Esau is hated, which his kingdom is going to be destroyed. His people are going to be enslaved for 1,000 years and then eventually be made extinct. So they know they have a short time, and so they're coming down with great wrath on his people, on the Israelites. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. But I read to you earlier in 1 Corinthians 15 that we shall not all sleep. So they're not going to kill us all. The Lord's going to protect the majority of us that are of the hopeful elect. But a few of us will be sacrificed in fulfilling prophecy. As I read in Revelation 6, that we will be beheaded for the testimony which we hold, which is the prophecy of Yahweh, Yahushua returning and setting the world correctly. It says, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right, which Yahushua told us would happen as well. All right, in Matthew 24, we'll start at 3, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world? Talking about the end of the age of the so-called white man. Remember, they're being oppressed by the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks are so-called Caucasians, starting with the Alexander the Greek, which is actually one of the heads of the beast, the Greek head, all right, which it's like unto a leopard because of Alexander the Greek. And then up to now, which America is the, Rome was the head that was wounded unto death, and it was reincarnated through America, which America is the whore that rides the beast. All right, and this beast is 7 heads. The 7 heads is Greece, Greek, Rome, France, British, Spain, Germania Major, Germania Minor, all right, which America is the whore that rides the beast, and it is the reincarnation of the ancient Roman Empire, which was wounded unto death. All right, now they're going to try to reincarnate it again. Renaissance, a new Renaissance, a neo-Renaissance, all right, using what they think they're going to do, a World War III, to bring the New World Order out of chaos, which they're going to make it mandatory that you have an implantable micro CHIP in your body for buying and selling. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Which it was just reported, the counterfeits that are in our land, the bastards that are in our land, claim that they have found the Messiah.
The coming of their Messiah. I find it interesting that Israel's Messiah is possibly to be revealed very soon. The man in this video is known as the Yanuka Rav Shlomo Yehuda. He is uniting all the Jewish sects. He can quote the whole Torah, and not only that, but he knows the Torah. He has quoted the whole Torah without a single mistake, and then takes questions concerning the Torah and gives them an answer showing them that he is Yanuka. He has also been doing healings. Prophecy is about to unfold very soon. I'm going to show you some things.
Which, that's a false Messiah. All right? It says right there in verse 5, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Remember, he's supposed to return as he left. Yahushua went up into a cloud, a so-called UFO. And when he returns, he's going to return upon a so-called UFO. All right, so we don't have to go looking for him. He's going to come from the heavens. All right, let me get that real quick. In Revelation 19, it says in verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. The white horse is the chariot, the so-called UFO. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Okay? Verse 14, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, on other chariots. So you're going to have what they call a so-called UFO invasion. All right? And the angels, and which are following Yahushua, you know, they're going to be, as it is described in the Holy Scriptures, as so-called black men. It says, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. That sword is the laser coming out of the so-called UFO, just like they show you on Independence Day. It says that with it he should smite the nations, which he's going to kill them. All right. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh, which this shows you that those counterfeits are false, all right? Because there's order in what the Lord said would come, okay? And it says here, verse 5 of Malachi 4, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. So before the Lord returns, Yahweh sends his son Yahushai, the Lord would send Elijah. So this shows you that these counterfeit, these bastards that occupy our land, all right, which are really Edomites, they do not fulfill the prophecies. All right, where's Elijah, which was to come before the Lord? Just like Elijah came as John the Baptist before Yahushai came as the Messiah to be sacrificed. Well, before the dreadful day of the Lord, he was to send us Elijah, which we know he came as Abba Bivens, fulfilling Malachi chapter 4. All right? So, be not deceived. That's the next thing that Yahushua says in Matthew 24. Because there's a lot of deception going on right now. It says in verse, let me start at 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which is happening. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, which there's race wars. All right, there's a race war going on right now. All right, so what I'm going to play for you is currently happening right now. Okay, this is only a couple days old.
Let's talk about what's happening in Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri police dismissed claims that black women were being targeted by a serial killer. Yet on Friday, Timothy Haslett, a 39-year-old white man, was arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and raping a 22-year-old black woman. The woman escaped his home while he dropped his child off at school. Now, she told police she'd been held captive since September, and he repeatedly raped and beat her. She said that her friends did not make it out, meaning Haslett killed them. Now, last month, a couple of folks, community leaders there, sounded the alarm that multiple black women and girls have been missing. The Kansas City Defender reported this as well, reported missing women from Prospect Avenue. Now, the Defender discovered Haslett to be a white supremacist, found his Facebook post talking about race wars as well as Breonna Taylor. Ryan Sorrell is the founding editor of the Kansas City Defender. And Ryan, glad to have you back to give us an update. And so the woman said that her friends did not make it.
All right. So as you heard, this man that did this is a known so-called white supremacist, and let me get it to where they show the Edomite cops. Okay. When you see these cops here,
I really do get a kick out of every year around to why people were making these reports.
all right, you see a bunch of skinhead Edomite cops, which they did. They were reported. These women were being reported kidnapped, and these police officers, didn't give a shit because you're an Israelite. You're a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American Indian woman. There's stories of Native American women being raped and murdered by the law enforcement on reservations, the so-called Caucasians. All right. They've been doing this since the beginning of time. All right. They are the wicked. The wicked are the so-called Caucasians. They are the devil the Bible speaks of. All right. And they're at war with you Israelites. And just like he said, all right, the man that was doing this was speaking of a race war. And the race war is already happening. All right, it's happening. And Jake is so fucked up, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian. It's just as it is spoken of in the scriptures that my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. All right, Jake is walking around in complete gross darkness. And that was prophesied to come. All right. In Isaiah 60, verse 1, arise, shine, for thy light is come, which we have the truth, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee, which Yahweh Shai is our Savior, and he's going to come in the glory of his Father, Yahweh. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. See, gross darkness. These things are happening, and there's not even an uproar. Look at it. Look at it. The things going on worldwide. They're talking about nuclear war, and even in Vietnam there was a protest. All right, to protest the war. They don't even have protests going on right now, and it's pretty much liquidation of the whole world, showing you that there is a gross darkness of pretty much willful ignorance upon the people. All right. It says, but Yahweh shall arise upon thee. This is why we have awoken to this truth through the Holy Spirit, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. See, it says, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, which this is pertaining to the Israelites. All right. It says, Goyim. All right. And as you can see, it says right here, of Israel. All right. We were scattered amongst the heathen. And the heathen, the true Goyim, all right, and the Israelites have taken on the ways and even the looks of the heathen. So we have completely lost who we were. We lost our Father's name, Yahweh. We have lost our Savior's name, Yahweh Shai, the prophecy of his return, because the so-called white man, all right, has deceived the whole world with his lies. Okay? And that's his witchcraft. He's a deceiver. He deceived Eve in the garden. That serpent, that was not a snake. That was a man. And today that man is the so-called white man, still deceiving the world, starting with the woman. That's why he got these women believing that they're equal to a man. All right, let me get that. In Isaiah 3. All right. It says right here in verse 8, for Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahweh, to provoke the eyes of his glory, and the show of their countenance doth witness against them. And they declare their sin as Sodom, which they're sodomites, they're homosexuals, the women are lesbians, all right? And if they ain't that, they're whores. And a lot of times they're both of that. It says, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahweh. And just a reminder, hey, those serial killers, those are spirits of vengeance. Those are the Lord's sword. The so-called white man is known as the sword of the Lord. So he uses the so-called white man to punish Jake. So it was the Lord's will that he kidnapped those women, those Jake women, and was raping them and beating them. And I guarantee you, all right, that those women got what they deserved, because the Lord is not unjust. All right. It says, the show of their countenance doth witness against them, which I guarantee you they were looking sloppy and whorish, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. So this is going to happen more and more. We've been prophesying of this, that you women, you Jake women, you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian women, you're in big trouble. The so-called white man is the red devil, and he's going to be unleashed on you. And it tells you that the Lord's going to allow him to fucking torment you with rape. It says in Zechariah 14, verse 2, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, meaning destroyed, and the women ravished, meaning raped. All right, these devils are going to come in and rape you and tie you up and beat you and molest you and eat you eventually. That's what's eventually going to happen, because there's not going to be no food. It says, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, which are going to go into FEMA camps, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. So the elect and the entire 1/3 will be saved. Then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. So when they come against us, when they come in on us like a flood, the Lord is going to raise that standard. He's going to fight for us. He's going to even send angels like Michael, all right? An angel that is an angel of war, a messenger of war, man. He's coming down on this devil, all right, with great wrath, because the devil's coming down on great wrath on the Israelites, because he knoweth that he hath but a short term. All right? And see, he's only going to be allowed to touch so many of the Lord's elect to fulfill that prophecy, and then it's over for him. Nuclear destruction of his kingdom and them that are here. And then after that, 1,000 years of slavery, many generations. All right? It says, then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle, which he'll enslave the ones that remain, that are in the bunkers around the world, when America is wiped off the face of the earth. It says in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. So they're going to persecute us. Like it says in Matthew 24, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, which is nuclear destruction. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All right? And what you got to understand, America has been created to be destroyed. All right, there's an actual thing where they have to wait for Russia to strike first before America is allowed to use nuclear missiles. All right, and Russia, just like you heard in that video from Off the Grid Desert Prepper, I believe his channel was, he was explaining that Russia is getting all kinds of nuclear missiles ready to fire upon America. Not just an ICBM, but multiple different versions of it. Even the ones that he has underwater. In the submarines, they have a nuclear weapon that is actually able to create a tsunami that's never been seen before. All right, which they said could, they estimate, take out the whole western coast of the United States. Okay? So, great judgment is about to come upon this whore, America, all right, the virgin daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Matthew 24, it says, verse 7, Yahushua is prophesying, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences, which there's a new pestilence coming out every month. and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, you see the sorrows take place, and you have the pangs of sorrow, which were the messengers of pain, the prophets. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, the prophets, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Why? Because we're telling them bad news, all right? It's good news for us. It's the gospel for us, but it's bad news for them. It tells you this in Isaiah 13. It says in verse 2, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, which were exalting Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. We're the biblical Hebrew Israelites. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, which we're correcting our people with rebuke through the Holy Spirit, that they may go into the gates of the nobles, which even the Edomites, the rulers of the world, the so-called Illuminati, all right, are, watching our videos. They know their time is short. I have commanded my sanctified ones, which are the Israelites, the hopeful elect. I have also called my mighty ones, which he has angels coming on the chariots, and also he has angels in those nuclear missiles, which are going to fall upon these heathens' heads. It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones, I have also commanded my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. All right? It says in verse 8, and they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. So they're terrified. That's why it says in Revelation 11 that great fear fell upon them that saw us stand upon our feet. Let me get that. It says in Revelation 11:11, and after 3 days and a half, when Abba Bivens was given to us, the return of Elijah, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them. Talking about Abba Bivens. And they stood upon their feet, which he taught us that we were the Israelites, starting with the elders of One West. And then the elders of One West taught our fathers, the elders of Great Millstone, the apostles, and the elders of that rule Great Millstone well. It says, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And soon after that, nuclear destruction, because they're going to persecute us. Because when you go into this war of pangs, all right, it says, messenger, all right? Messenger of what? Pain, okay? We are the messenger of pain. We are the actual ones sent from the Lord to teach the truth. And the truth is that many are going to die. So that's why these people are afraid as we stand upon our feet. It says in 2 Ezra 6, says, 2 Ezra 6, 16. It says, it might be up. Actually, oh, I know what it is. 2 Ezra 9. Kala Yaba Shibnil Shah. Few. Might be 8. Let me see. Yep, 2nd Ezra 8. Kalaya Bashim Nashai. 8:1. And he answered me, saying, which is an angel telling Ezra of the prophecy of the end days. The Most High had made this world for many, which there's a population on the earth like never before, but the world to come for few. Okay? What does that mean? That a lot of people are going to die. For verse 3, there be many created, but few shall be saved. All right? And that's just the bitter truth of it. And that's why they're going to persecute us. Because they don't want to hear the truth. And the Israelites, they don't want to repent because they're in love with their oppressor. All right? They love the so-called white man. That's why, even though this so-called white man already shows you hate, by doing what he does to the Israelites, but then you in denial because you go and pray to white Jesus, which is the image of your oppressor, the God that your oppressor gave you in slavery. So the Lord is going to kill 2/3 of his own people that are deceived. Okay? Verse 8, Matthew 24, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. Who's going to deliver us up? The Israelites that hate us. They hate the truth. They reject the truth. 2/3 of the Israelites are going to be destroyed. And the Israelites are the ones that persecuted Yahushua. All right? The ones that rejected him. Now, not all the Israelites rejected him. You had the apostles, which were disciples. All right? And we were of all the tribes. Because when this word went out, it went out even to the Gentile Israelites. All right? It says, then shall they, and really it's reached the four corners of the earth because now we're at the end. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, which we said they're going to chop the head off for not taking the MOTB, okay? Or they chop you off from society because you don't take the MOTB. So you won't be allowed to buy or sell. It says, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another, which the Lord's going to do this with these heathen. It tells you that in Revelation 17. He's going to make them go against each other on low level, like literally war against neighbor, right? Neighbor against neighbor. It tells you that in 2nd Ezra 15. And also on nation level. It says right here, look at it, lit it up on 17. For Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai shall be fulfilled. So they're coming together against the Israelites to fight us. And just like it said, the Lord created them to do such. But the Lord is the one that's going to deliver us and take them out of their power. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest, in verse 16, thou sawest upon the beast, which the 10 horns are talking about the kings of the European Union. The beast, teeth of the beast is NATO. The power, the military might of this beast is NATO. It says, these shall hate the horde. The horde is the America. All right? America is the horde that rides the beast. So the Lord controls the hearts of men. So right now they may be at some form agreed to bring together this new world order only because the Lord has commanded them so. But after they make that device mandatory, their hearts are going to be divided and they're going to shoot nuclear missiles upon each other. All right? And really upon America, the majority of these nuclear missiles are going to be on America, which there's going to be war throughout the world because it even tells you of this But the majority of those nuclear missiles are going to be concentrated in America. So much that it's going to shake the earth. At the same time, Yahweh Shai is going to burn up the mountain of troops that are gathered together in the valley of Yahweh's Mashapah, which is known as Valley of Jehoshaphat in the land of Israel, all right? Which I should say ancient Israel, all right? They're going to gather together in the Valley of Armageddon, which is going to be a mountain of troops. That's what that word Armageddon means. And the Lord is going to burn them up, which is in 2nd Ezra 13. Revelation 17, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Now I'll show you where it says in 2nd Ezra 15 that judgment will come upon these people. It says, verse 14, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword, the so-called white men, and their destruction draweth nigh." Once again, he's known as the sword. What do you do with a sword? You kill. The so-called white man was created as a weapon against the Israelite, to punish the Israelite because we sinned. We worshiped false gods. All right? So now that we're repenting, the Lord is going to kill the 2/3 and deliver the 1/3, the Israelites of the hopeful elect. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men," which that means they're going to go against the government, which this is already being fulfilled. Sedition means where they start talking about violence against their government, which I already hear that. I heard it on Rethink the Dollar. They had a man literally talk about going up and killing politicians. You know, that it was so blunt that the host of the show actually had to put up a disclaimer saying, "I don't agree with this man's comments." All right, afraid of any retaliation from the government. But this is showing you that these prophecies are coming to pass and that we're in the last days. All right, 2nd Ezra 9, it tells you to measure the time within itself, which pretty much look around according to the prophecies. Look what's going on and measure them according to the prophecies. And we can see soon they're about to make that device mandatory because they're collapsing the currencies and bringing that MOTB, which they're going to make mandatory. All right? It says, and then after that, nuclear destruction. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one and another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes," which there will be no, stopping them. The Lord's going to put it in their hearts, and he's going to allow them to fulfill their desire, which is going to be touching their politicians. "And the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So the Lord's going to give them over to them. "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able because of martial law. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled," which is Jacob's trouble. "The houses shall be destroyed," which I read to you earlier. They're going to be raping the women, taking the goods, whatever they find in the houses, and killing the men. It says, "And men shall be afraid." A lot of these men are going to be drafted to the war to be killed in the chariot fire, which comes with Yahweh Shai. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods." And part of the man's goods is his wife and his children. So the man's going to go into another man's house and rape his wife and kill his kids and eat them and do whatever he wants. "Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Behold, saith Yahweh, I will call upon, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which they're doing, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen. So will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the supreme power Yahweh. My right hand, which is Yahushai, shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and sinners like the straw that is kindled. Like it says in Malachi. Alright? And because you're going to have Esau, the heathen, and also you're going to even have Israelites that rejected the truth in this lake of fire. Malachi 4 verse 1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. Why is it going to burn as an oven? Nuclear destruction. Chariot, so-called UFO. You know, the chariots the Lord comes upon and the angels, they're going to be shooting laser beams out of them and destroying people. And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So he's going to kill the parents, the grandparents, the kids, kill the fucking dog. You know what I'm saying? He's going to destroy your house. He's going to literally, if you live in America, all right, the earth of America, the land of America is going to be literally destroyed and overturned up into the atmosphere, but you get a mushroom cloud. Just think of what the mushroom cloud is going to be like when 200 million nuclear missiles hit America. All right, how deep down it's going to be flipped. So if you have a house, even a bunker in America, it's not going to remain because the power that the Lord is coming with. That's why it says that them that are in the caves, that they're going to be begging the rocks to fall upon them, to hide them from the wrath of the Lamb, from the judgment of the Lord. But, verse 2, but unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness, Yahushai, arise with healing in his wings. He's going to save us. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, which we're getting fat in slavery on this oil, this truth. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith Yahweh of hosts. And how's that going to happen? Matthew 24, it says in verse 28, 29, it says, and it's Yahushua saying it, he's prophesying what he was going to do. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, which the tribulation is going to be when they make that MOTB mandatory, because you're going to be in trouble. How are you going to eat? How are you going to, they're going to chase us out of our homes. Now, we know this is coming, and we have faith in the promises of the Lord that he's going to take care of us. But the 2/3 that I spoke of that are going to die in America, that reject the truth, those scoffers are going to be destroyed. The sinners, the said his hand is not going to show no mercy to sinners. Which those are the same ones calling on Jesus. All right, those are the same ones believing in the so-called white man's gun, that's going to save them. All right, the ones that take that MOTB, they're going to die in that lake of fire. But to the elect, It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. Why? Because the stars from heaven shall fall. It says, and the stars shall fall from heaven. What does it mean? Nuclear missiles. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. The Illuminati, they're in their bunkers. They're dreading this, okay? The return of Yahushua. They got hell to pay. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. All right, he's not going to show up in Israel, all right, like a man. He's not going to meet you as a man. He's going to meet you, Esau, as a God, and he's going to come at you with war. He wants war with you. It says, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven, the so-called UFOs. This shows you that those counterfeits, the bastards, the big nose, small hat bastards in our land, all right, they don't fulfill prophecy. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, the glory of his Father Yahweh. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. He's going to gather us up into the chariot, the so-called UFO. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So as you see Russia getting ready, getting these missiles ready, all right, you see these other countries like North Korea testing intercontinental ballistic missiles. When they shot that missile over Japan, who is over Japan? If they shoot over Japan, the next continent, the next landmass that comes after Japan is America. All right, the actual continent is North America. But the destruction is going to be in America. The whore that rides the beast is going to be destroyed by fire, nuclear fire, and them that do wicked and them that are the wicked are going to be in that lake of fire. Thus saith the word of Yahweh through his son Yahushua, Ba'asham Rakah Kudash, which is the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule Great Millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Wa abababal. And let me just jump real quick to Isaiah. And let me see if I finish that up real quick. Isaiah 59. It says, so, verse 19, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, the east. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him, which Yahushua is going to fight for us and actually change us and deliver us and give us new bodies. And the Redeemer, Yahushua, shall come to Zion. Zion are the elect, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, which you got Isaiah 4:1, the 7 women shall cleave to one man, and so, to take away their reproach, they shall be saved in childbearing. And then you got Isaiah 14:1, which tells you about the strangers that are going to be joined to Israel, which are Israelite foreigners. Whether they don't know yet or whether they're ignorant of it, they will recognize it because we're going to be in a full out bloodbath. They're not going to be able to ignore it no more. So when that happens, it says that they'll be willing in the day of our power. Our power is going to be increased when they come in like a flood against the elect. Verse 21, as for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh. So this is the promise that he made with the Israelites. My Spirit that is upon thee, which is prophecy, the Holy Spirit, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, which he says are prophecy. 2 Ezra 15 verse 1, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, so fuck the wicked. You fucking red devils, you're going down, bitches. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Which the Lord was going to kill the 2/3. It says in verse 21 of Isaiah 59, And my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of thy mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. So we're going to be delivered. You see, that's why we're being established. It says righteousness establishes the throne. So he's getting us ready for the kingdom to be here on earth, which it is here because it's within us, but to be actually carried out to where we become these gods that we are and actually take control of the earth and teach this earth the ways of Yahweh once again. Proverbs 16:12, It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. So the wicked, they're forfeiting their throne, and the Lord's going to judo flip their ass out of it with the nuclear destruction of America and the burning up of their armies. And they're going to be given over to the Israelites in slavery, and we're going to establish the righteousness by a rod of iron. It says we're going to rule over them with a rod of iron, and we're going to smash them into pieces. We're literally going to break them down. We're going to kill them. When the power is given to us, we're going to be able to kill the heathen, and for righteousness' sake, because the heathen are wicked. They're in bed with the wicked. The so-called white man is the wicked, and right now all they do is wickedly. So they have to be corrected, and the only correction they know is death. So they have to be put to death for them to stop doing the wickedness. It says, Isaiah 16:5, And in mercy shall the throne be established. Why? Because he's having mercy on the Israelites. Isaiah 16:5, And in mercy shall the throne be established, because we're under grace under Yahweh Shai, which he told us the truth when we lost it, bringing us back through the Holy Spirit by the prophet. And he shall sit upon it in truth, in the tabernacle of David, which is talking about the Israelite men that are righteous, starting with the elect, judging and seeking judgment and hastening righteousness, which makes me think of that 2 Peter chapter 3, and we'll wrap it up with this here. It says in verse 10, But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, unexpected, because all these people are in gross darkness, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, nuclear destruction of America, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat. And just think that sound itself of 200 million nuclear missiles destroying America. It says, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. The Lord's going to burn this land and the men. All right? This land is going to become brimstone in America. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So fuck the world, repent, and wash yourself in this word, all right? Converting the soul. This is what I am also doing. By faith in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Looking for and hastening. Hastening, when you go into that word hastening, all right, it says to haste, to make haste, to desire earnestly, which goes to that tawa in Ezekiel 9 verse 4, which makes you exempt from judgment. It says, look, i.e., in other words, urge on diligently or earnestly, to speed. It says, by implication, to wait eagerly. See, to make with haste unto. So study to show yourself approved, okay? Because when you go into this word, all right, it says, of this outline biblical usage B, it says, of disciples listening to their teachers' instruction are said to be at his feet, which that's the best place you could be, is at the feet of the Lord. Just like Mary and Martha, there was two sisters. One, Mary was at the feet of the Lord listening to his word, and Martha, she was busy, trying to cook a meal to please the Lord. And he said Mary was the one that chose correctly by being at the feet of the Lord. All right? It says,